Nicholas Charles Sparks was born in Omaha, Nebraska, the 31 December 1965. His sister died at the age of 33 from a brain tumor. Sparks has said that she was the inspiration for the main character in his novel A Walk to Remember. He had a Catholic education, he was married and has 5 children. In 1989 he moved to New Bern, North Carolina, where he started writing his novels and where he now lives with his family. In 2015, Sparks divorced from his wife. The novel The Notebook starts with an elderly man who reads a romantic book to a woman with Alzheimer's in a nursing home. The story is about 2 young lovers, Noah Calhoun, a poor lumber mill worker, and Ellie Nelson, a rich girl from the city. The two meet at a party. The big social differences between the two won't stop them from falling in love with each other, and they will spend together 3 weeks, in which they will know each other deeply. They will share dreams and fears in the house near the river, which Noah wants to buy someday, and he swears to do it. Despite their love is so strong, their story has to end, because the summer is over and Ellie is forced to go back home with her family. Noah keeps his promise to write to Ellie letters. He writes letters for 2 years without having an answer. Only 14 years later he will find out that Ellie never read that letters, but that her mother kept them from her, because she never accepted their love. At the same time, Ellie convinces herself that Noah has forgot about her, since he never sent the letters as promised. At the same time, the Second World War began, and Noah joined the army, while Ellie began a nurse. Thanks to this job, she will meet Lon Almond Jr., with whom she will engage. On the other hand, Noah, as soon as the war ends, decides to buy the house of his dreams, but without the woman he loves and will always love. After 11 months of work, the house is finally restored, and ends up on the local journal. Ellie reads the article and decides to see Noah for the last time, and so going back to New Bern. After 11 years without seeing each other, they're still in love with each other, and Ellie is now forced to decide if she wants to marry Lon, or if going against everyone and everything for her biggest love. At the end, she will make the right choice and will follow her heart. At the end of the story, the woman with Alzheimer understands that the 2 young lovers are her and the man who's reading the book. At the beginning of the disease, he promised her to read her the notebook, so that she could go back to him even for an instant.
I remember now. It was us. It was us.
Oh,
It was
darling.
us.
Oh, my sweetheart.
Oh.
I love you so much. Oh,
Noah. I love you, Adrian. What happened to me?
nothing.
Every movie based on a novel has some differences from it, and also in this movie we can underline some differences. The plot has not been changed, so the differences are minimum, but there are some little structural differences. The movie is more dramatic, while the book is more romantic. The book starts with an elderly man who reads a book to a woman with Alzheimer, same in the movie, but in this one the 2 elderly protagonists appear sometimes, in the book not so much. In the book, the events of the 2 protagonists when they were teenagers are not an important part of the story, while the movie first tells their teenage love story and then their adult life and the love story. The final part of the film tells of how Ellie, after became aware that Noah restored the house of his dreams, goes back to New Bern just to see him, and in this part of the movie we find a Noah broken inside and consumed for the absence of love in his life. In the book, it's totally the opposite. Noah is so happy to see Ellie again, and he only has sweet words for her. Moreover, in the novel, Noah immediately tells Ellie about the letters. In the movie, she finds out of this during a fight. And the biggest difference is that in the book, Noah, without anger or bitterness, because inside of him he always knew that her mother kept them from her, he tells her that he wrote her letters for 2 years. In the movie, he is angry because he thinks that she didn't want him to read them, and he specified that he wrote 365 letters, one per day.
As the lilacs bloom.
Nicholas Sparks is one of the most famous American writers in the world. The novel The Notebook gave him an enormous success, despite he already had it with his previous novel. The movie is the most famous and the one with more success, thanks to its drama, the exact plot, and also to impeccable actors. The book doesn't only talks about love, but also about a serious disease, the Alzheimer, which is a chronic neurodegenerative disease that usually starts slowly and gradually worsens over time. It is the cause of 60 to 70% of cases of dementia. The most common early symptoms is difficulty in remembering recent events and also people. It sensitizes the public to an incurable disease, which is very hard to deal with, especially for the relatives of the patient. This book is about a man who never gives up and tries to bring back to him, even for a few seconds, the love of his life. It gives hope to those who have to deal with this disease. It also talks about the brutality of the Second World War and of how the soldiers died in agony and of how those who were waiting for them at home lived with the fear of never seeing them again or with the hope of seeing them home. It talks about love, the rare one, impossible to find, but for those who are an incurable romantic like me, the hope never dies. Of a love born at a young age, when everyone thinks that it is just an infatuation, while that love lasts forever, despite every obstacle like distance, social inequality. Love like this nowadays, that lasts forever, are rare, but possible to find. Just look at our grandparents to understand that values like this still exist in precious people. When I was a child, I didn't like to read. My passion for it began in high school, and one of the books that made me change my mind was The Notebook. I always liked love stories, and this book is the perfect romantic novel. It makes you believe and hope that one day you will have a love like this. I decided to choose this book also for the movie because it's my favorite. I have watched it a million times and every time I cry. In my opinion, it's the most romantic and dramatic book and movie ever. The one thing that makes it unique is that it is not like the others. In this case, it's the man who refused to move on with his life after the end of their love story. The woman, on the other hand, moves on. This is the unicity of the story. The man who doesn't want to love anyone else because he knows that he will always love the same woman for the rest of his life.